Hi. One would be forgiven for thinking this channel was dead. It's been... It was May. I had to check before I recorded this. It has been since May since I've recorded a video on this channel. In fact, the last video that I did, I was basically talking about the redo of my office. For those wondering, for those who are following that saga, no, it has not been finished. There's still empty drawers and empty cabinets. The cable management still looks like a bird's nest, and it's probably going to be like that for a while. Just a quick example, I actually spent a little bit of time organizing all of my random cords and stuff, and yeah, they've been sitting there for like 3 months. But we just had Thanksgiving, we're getting into December, and it's getting to the end of the year, so I wanted to just kind of get on here and let you know this channel does still exist. I do still have plans to do things on here. For those who give a crap, sorry that it's been so long. I can talk a little bit about why. This year has been a really transitional year for the main channel. Obviously, I started off the year this last spring, redoing the set over here. If you want to see it, this is what I'm talking about, but y'all already know about that. But yeah, so it started off with this, and after that there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I've talked about it in various places. If you follow me on Patreon, you might have caught me on a live stream talking about this, but the team around this channel has grown steadily, slowly over the years. So believe it or not, 2014 is going to be my 10th year of doing this channel regularly. So I started posting videos, blog style or vlog style videos, maybe around 2010 or 2009. I wasn't really regular about it. I would post for a little while, and if they didn't ever get any traction, which they don't in the beginning, I would kind of phase out, and I would do it for a few months and then get burnt out and start over again. But it was 2014 when I really started taking it seriously and started posting weekly, and I've been doing that ever since. So this next year is going to be 10 years. And I'm looking at that with equal parts, I don't know, excitement, but also a little dread. There's not a lot of channels on YouTube that have been going for that long, that are still around, that didn't have some major pivot or some major shift at some point. And that's something I'm thinking about quite a bit, like ways to kind of pivot the channel, trying new things over the next year. But the struggle has become, as the team has grown, and sort of the process of getting these videos made kind of got baked in, the ability to shift and try something new and expand a little bit became harder and harder. So this year has kind of been the year where it's like, look, we've got to get, frankly, our shit together. We got to like figure out a better way to crank out these videos and increase the quality if possible, and at the same time free me up to focus on bigger things and focus on a pivot, focus on new directions and stuff like that. And I think the secret to doing that is finding what your audience likes about what you do and finding a different way of doing that same thing. That's what this whole year has been about. So you saw, like I said, the redo of the studio. That was actually the smallest thing. We started doing some behind the scenes stuff starting in maybe June. We had a big in-person team meeting. We had never all gotten in the same room together at the same time. It's all been, over Zoom and whatnot. And to break down the problem as succinctly as possible, it was basically that as the team grew, there was still like this, basically everybody reported to me. And when it was like a few people reporting to me, not a problem. But when you get up to 7 or 8 people reporting to you and they're all doing their own thing, and it just became too much. I became the bottleneck all the time. Everybody was always waiting on me to do something because I was, handling this and that and the other. And we had to just restructure things. We had to figure out a new way of organizing, and more like hierarchical structure, so to speak. So we started doing that in June with that big meeting. And along with that came a new organizational system for like a project management system, a tool, a software tool to manage all of this stuff. And that's been one of the biggest things. So we've incorporated this new, we're on Notion now. We used to operate, for the nerds out there who really care about this, we used to operate on Trello. That was kind of our organizational system. And Evernote, that's what had all the like scripts and stuff like that in it. And we would link them back and forth, but you were still dealing with two different things. Well, now we've got this new system in Notion. If you know who Thomas Frank is, he is a friend of mine. He's another Nebula creator, and he's an absolute savant when it comes to Notion. And he had created these things, these templates, specifically to run YouTube channels off of. If you're curious, it's called Creator's Companion. You can look it up. It's awesome. It's a lot. But between reorganizing everything, creating a new structure, and basically defining everybody's role kind of thing, and finding figuring a new process for the writing, figuring out a new process for the editing and the post-production, even the social media and like marketing stuff that follows it. It's just been this whole thing, and we have to incorporate that into this program. And long story short, it's taken a lot longer than I would have liked. I would have liked for it to have been a 1 or 2 or maybe 3 month process, but it's been going this whole year, and we're 95% there. There's still like a few little check boxes to mark before we finally get everything running exactly the way it needs to on this channel. My hope is that starting in January, that's going to be settled, and we'll be ahead by a couple of weeks. Like, the whole problem this whole time has been that we're always like just getting the video out on Sunday. The video that comes out on Monday is being finished on Sunday. And it's like always down to the wire. And it became this whole thing of like, if somebody's computer went down, we'd be screwed. If one person had a family emergency and had to leave town or something, we'd be screwed. So we were always on a razor's edge. So we had to like figure out a way to create a little bit of redundancy and figure out a way to get a little gap in between when we finish the videos and when they go out. And we're getting there. We're like I said, we're 95% of the way there. But part of that for me has been, until we get that figured out, I kind of had to let go of some things. So that like maybe once we get this system figured out, we can apply that system to things like this channel, TMI, the podcast as well. Many people have noticed I kind of stopped doing the podcast this year. Same reason. The podcast was fun. I enjoyed talking to people, but it was a money loser. The cost of producing it was not making remotely, or it wasn't making remotely enough to pay for the cost of producing it. And that's kind of fine. Like the main channel can kind of subsidize that, and we can always pin back and forth. Anyway, there's a way of doing it, but we're going to have to kind of start over on that to reinterpret it so that it works with the system that we now have going. Anyway, like, I could sit here and talk all day long about all the specifics of why we're having to do things this way. It would bore you to tears, but it's a funny thing that like I'm kind of proud of it. Like we've really put a lot of work into it, and like under the hood stuff on the channel. It's taken a really long time, and it's something that I kind of want to talk to people about because I'm actually really proud of what we've done, but it's so boring. Nobody would give a crap at all. So I've already talked about it too much here. But anyway, the point is, I do plan on getting the TMI channel going again in the coming year. We plan on doing the podcast again. It might be a somewhat different format. I might have some co-hosts and that kind of thing. Also, we actually have a full team that's set up for sketches, and how those sketches will work, we're still kind of figuring it out. Some of them might be standalone sketches that don't go with the video at all, but I really want to play into that. I know that's something that people enjoy. I know it's something that I enjoy. But again, it kind of became this like, look, we got to sort out the functioning of this channel before we start adding these things on top of it. We're almost there. We're going to start adding things. The point of all of this is to say, as we're wrapping up 2023, there should be some really cool, fun stuff coming in 2024. And I don't want to tease it too much because we're still working on it, but I'm excited about it, and I look forward to sharing those things with you people. Hold on, I just got to notice it's time to be real. It noticed that I smiled. It said, oh, what a smile. I do have quite a smile. So as far as what you might see on this channel going forward, I've got some ideas. I mean, people who've been following this channel for a while, I've tried all kinds of things, from me giving hot takes on things in the news, or just like thoughts that I have that don't really fit into main channel videos. I've done like giving extra thoughts on the videos. Something I'm thinking about doing is maybe doing like a sort of responding to comments kind of thing on this video, or providing a little extra context through the comments that I get. I've even thought about, because I do have more of a film background than a lot of things. I have a lot of films that I really enjoy, and I've never really done film criticism or analysis or media criticism or anything. I've been thinking about maybe doing a little bit of that, like just talking about there's a lot of movies that I like that aren't necessarily great movies, and they're definitely underappreciated movies, but I've always just liked them. And I kind of like the idea of doing videos where I call out some lesser known, not as appreciated movies that I actually tend to appreciate quite a bit. They're mostly cheesy 90s comedies, I'll be honest with you. There's no reason I can't do live streams on this channel, like full live streams. I do live streams for Patreon people, but there's a very small crowd of people that show up for that. But doing live streams here, possibly. The only reason I'm listing all these is because I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Like, feel free to comment down below if any of these ideas sound fun to you, if it's something that you would like to see. I'd like to know. What else has been going on with me? I played Ultimate Frisbee with some neighborhood friends a few weeks back. Hurt my back, because obviously I did. I'd actually been having some back trouble for a while, and I was seeing a physical therapist. And what it turns out is that I'm not flexing my ass enough. That's what it basically comes down to. My ass is not strong enough, because as it turns out, everything flows from your ass in multiple ways. Because your ass supports your hips support your front supports your back, and if you don't have that chain going all the way through, then your back gets messed up. I had hurt my back several years ago doing something really stupid, and so when I was playing Ultimate Frisbee with these guys, I literally just like stepped in a pothole and landed wrong, and my back was like, oh no! And so now I'm sitting kind of weird. But the thing about like working my ass, first of all, I do work out with a trainer twice a week, as you can tell. It takes working out with a trainer twice a week to look like this. So yeah, because of this whole back thing, and I'm being told by my physical therapist, who's a different person, that I need to work on my glutes. At some point in our workout, it always goes to, do you want to do some butt stuff? Yeah, we need to do some butt stuff. So I do butt stuff with my trainer. Nothing weird about that. And I've also had to kind of adjust how I stand and walk, so that I'm like supporting myself with my glutes. So when I'm standing and having a conversation with people at a social function or whatever, I'm constantly thinking about my butt. We're sitting there having a conversation, in the back of my head, I'm like, squeeze! I'm squeezing all the time. And when I walk, I've got to like flex my butt as I walk. So it's created a bit of a sachet. I've got a sachet now. So if I'm walking the dogs around the neighborhood, I'm walking in a sachet. I've adopted a sachet. And it's one of those things where it's like, I know in my head that nobody's watching me, nobody cares, and it probably doesn't look like anything, but to me, I feel like I'm like walking a catwalk or something. That's what it feels like. Anyway, I'm a bit more fabulous than I used to be. It is really warm in here. By the way, I saw this exact mug on Spider-Man No Way Home. Jon Favreau was drinking out of it. I forgot his character's name. What else can I talk about? So, my hair has gotten long, as many have taken the time to point out. I get emails from people complaining about my hair, and I'm just like, you took the time to write that. Can we just pause and talk about how you took the time to look up my email and send me an email to complain about my hair? It's like, I feel like that says more about you than it does about me. But yeah. As for why I started growing it out, I don't know. I actually kind of started when I was redoing the studio. I guess because I wasn't going to be making a video for a while, I just kind of said screw it and let it grow out a little bit. And I've grown it out many times in my life. In my late 20s, it was actually longer than this. But I kind of fell out of favor with it. I didn't really like it. It would always reach a certain point. Mostly the side of my head grows a lot faster than the top of my head, so I get this like weird Krusty the Clown thing going. And I never really liked it. And then this year I started growing it out, and I don't know, it was just laying different. I liked it. My wife liked it, which is the most important thing. So I kind of just let it keep going because, like I said, I used to grow it out longer all the time. I liked it like that. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how far it's going to get. I don't know if it's working or not. Some days it look great, and other days I'm just like, good Lord. So we'll see. I don't know. I might trim it all off, and the next time I go to the hair guy, I don't know. I'm still liking it, honestly. I kind of like having longer hair. I wasn't allowed to have, by the way, if you have a young boy, let him grow his hair out. Because I'm still not sure if I can pull off long hair right now, because I've got this thing going up here, the nice little M, and it kind of makes it look a little stringy and stuff. But you never know who's gonna, like, is your son gonna lose his hair someday and not be able to grow it out anymore? Let him grow out his hair if he wants to. My parents wouldn't let me do it when I was a kid, so call it a midlife crisis if you want. This is not the worst thing a person could do on their midlife crisis, so I'll just take it. Although I feel like I've already had a midlife crisis. How many do you get? You might also be noticing a little bit of redness up here on my head. I can cover it up with makeup for the videos, but I'm showing it now. I'm opening myself up to you. I'm having to do another one of those sun damage treatments. Anybody who's been following my main channel for a really long time, I mean back in like 2015, 16, I had to do a big whole treatment on my face for sun damage, and it looked bad. I looked like Pizza the Hut for a little bit there. And I wish I could have done this during the pandemic, because for a while I had a spot on my nose that I was doing. So, I mean, it looked like I crashed a motorcycle and landed on my nose. Like, just road rash down my face, just on my nose. It was awful. And you can't hide your nose, Like this, I can wear a hat and go outside, go to the store or whatever. But on my nose, you couldn't hide it. It was very much a character building experience, because, like, I knew everybody was looking at it. It was god awful. And that's why I say I wish I could have done that during the pandemic, because everybody was wearing masks. I could have covered it up and nobody would have known. This one isn't going to be so bad. I've been doing it for a few weeks, which, by the way, the last time that I did it, I didn't realize I was supposed to put it on twice a week. I put it on twice a day. So it went way worse than it was supposed to. It got a lot worse. This is being a lot more gentle. I don't know how much worse this is going to get. So in a month or so, if you start seeing videos with me wearing a beanie or something like that, that's why. It's just something I have to do every once in a while. I get these little weird flaky spots, and it's just like a precancerous sun damage thing from when I was a kid. And you just have to put this stuff on, and what it basically does is it triggers your immune system to attack the damaged cells, and that's what that looks like. But yeah, fun things coming on the channel. I really hope that you guys have noticed an improvement in the quality over the last few months or so. We're definitely trying some new big things. That Earth with Rings video was definitely a leap. We got some really cool footage done for it, and we want to keep going down that path. So there's going to be some videos that are going to be sort of, I don't want to say phoning it in, but they're going to be videos that are going to be simpler and easier to make. And then there's some that we're going to put more effort into that are going to hopefully be big knock out of the park kind of things like that. That seems to pay off. The video did really well, or it's still doing pretty well. So we want to keep doing more stuff like that. But it's about reaching out and trying new things and growing and testing things. Just to get the channel where we need it to be, so we can really do the fun stuff that we've been wanting to do this whole time. So I talk about stepping away from this channel so I can focus on getting the main channel where it needs to be and stuff. And that's absolutely true. There's nothing untrue about that. If I'm going to really bare my soul, though, I think maybe one of the reasons why I've been so light on this channel, by light I mean not posting anything, is because I'm really starting to get the feeling that the world has enough opinions. Like, for the most part, I leave my opinions out of the main channel videos, outside of like some jokes here and there and stuff like that. But I try to keep them as factual and even-handed as possible. My personality and ideas and, opinions slip out from time to time, but I try not to rely on it too much. this has always been a channel where I get on here and I talk about like personal stuff that I'm thinking about, or, you know, things that bother me. And this is going to sound kind of sour, but like, I just, one of the things that's really starting to bother me is like, everybody seems like the internet has made it so that everybody has an opinion and they all feel like their opinion needs to be heard by everybody at all times. And people just share whatever thought they have as soon as it pops into their brain, which is crazy to me because like, I don't trust my thoughts at all. You know, I would say maybe 5 or 10% of my thoughts are worth sharing with the world at all. And the idea that people just get on, you know, Twitter or on, you know, TikTok or whatever and just say whatever comes to mind, it's just like, Jesus, what's wrong with you? Like, we're just swimming in opinions right now. The internet is just an opinion factory. And I know that some people are going to hear me say this and say, yeah, but Joe, we want to hear your opinion and stuff like that. I mean, I hope somebody out there feels that way. But I also think that, like, doesn't everybody think that about themselves? Doesn't everybody think that their opinion is something that needs to be heard and that's why they put it out there? To me, it just felt like maybe I need to step back a little bit and not contribute to that. This is probably something I should talk to my therapist about. I have a problem with like playing small, and I think maybe like, you know, putting videos together for the main channel, those are like creative endeavors, you know, those are more like filmmaking and narrative storytelling type stuff, you know, but to just get on here unscripted and just talk like I'm doing right now, I've always been a little less comfortable with that. And I've become more and more uncomfortable with it as time has gone on. And like I said, I just feel like all we hear everywhere we look now is just people's opinions. And I think we could do with less of that, honestly. I would much rather have some more facts out there. I think all these opinions are starting to pile up and it's leading to a lot of really bad thinking. And I like to think that I'm not going to be one of the people that contributes to that because, of course, my ideas are better. But again, everybody thinks that about their ideas, and that's why they put their opinions out. So I kind of backed off a little bit. There's practical reasons for me backing off too that I was talking about earlier, but if I'm really being honest with you and myself, I think that's a big part of it. I just felt like I was part of the problem. I mean, it's kind of hypocritical for me to sit here and talk about how like everybody's sharing their opinions online all the time. It's such a problem while I'm sitting here sharing my opinion. Just me saying that is an opinion that I'm sharing. So I don't know what the answer is. I hope that you guys think that my opinion is worth sharing. Maybe it's even important enough for me to do that to counter the opinions of some other people that might not be as responsible with their voice, so to speak. But I like to think that, but of course, again, I think everybody thinks that about themselves. So I'll work on it. But anyway, I think that's all I've got for right now. Thank you for your patience, for those who have been waiting for me to get back on here and say something eventually. I'm really looking forward to this next year and the stuff that we're going to be doing. Feel free to comment and let me know what you think about me coming back to this channel, the kind of stuff you would like to see me do on this channel. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to your opinions. I'm giving you permission to share your opinions. Aren't I merciful? But I think outside of that, there's not a whole lot else to report right now. If I think of something else, maybe I'll do another video. What a concept. But I guess I'll leave it at that. So yeah, if I don't see ya before... Here comes the noise. If I don't see you before the holidays, I hope you all have a good one. And yeah, we'll do some more of this. This channel is not yet dead. Catch you next time.